Hi, this is Barry with 10 Minute Torah. We've already talked about the opening line of Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah. We've talked about her significance. Let's continue on, and it says in verse number 2 of chapter 23, Bereshit, Genesis 23, and Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron. And it says that Avraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Well, where was he? A reading of the text says that he is in Beersheba. They're not living together. At least when she dies, they're not together. She dies without him. You don't hear very much about this. This is my personal take. I think that there may be some marital discord that has taken place here. Follow my line of thought here. The word says that when they came out of Ur of the Chaldees, and then they also left Haran to come to the land, that Avraham took Sarah. The word suggests laying your hands on, seizing, grabbing onto. Maybe she wasn't as embracing of the idea as he was originally. There was at least then those two occasions where it would seem that a ruler of the land that they were visiting was more interested in her than her own husband was. The whole Hagar Ishmael thing was greatly upsetting to both of them, and I'm sure that it caused more than one argument between them. For whatever reason of them being apart, perhaps it was the issue that Abraham left with Yitzchak, and she found out he's going to offer our son up as an offering. This man has lost it. Maybe she didn't get that. I don't know. But they're living apart, or at least they are significantly apart for whatever reason when she dies. While Adam and Chava brought about great discord and the invasion of sin into a perfect world, Avraham and Sarah still nonetheless, despite their differences, whatever they may have been, their issues, though they may have been a few, worked together to bring about a sense of unity and healing and restoration. Not only that, but they produced between them one of the most significant births, miraculous births, recorded for us in annals of history. That is the birth of Yitzchak. What an amazing accomplishment for a 100-year-old man, a 90-year-old woman, to have their bodies rejuvenated, restored, and renewed to a youthfulness to the place that they could, though they were past the age of bearing children, now they're able to have a child. So Yitzchak's birth is nothing small. This is an incredible event. So what this tells me is that even though that there is issues, there are issues, even though there are multiple reasons not to work together, they set aside whatever their differences were enough that they were able to be productive and fruit-bearing. From this, then, we can learn that even though we may have imperfect relationships with some, even though we may have personality clashes or disagreements, different agendas can arise, different methodologies can be argued over. The secret is to find a way to work together to get something bigger than the sum of all parties accomplished. Currently, this greatly applies to the Hebraic roots community. We have all sorts of disagreements, all sorts of varying methodologies and approaches to things. Dates, calendars, names, you name it. We have our issues. There needs to be a way for you and I to set all of these things aside and realize that we need to partner together and all the areas that we can in order to get something bigger than the sum of all of us, worldwide, all of us accomplished. And that is to bring the kingdom of Yah to the earth with Yeshua reigning over the earth as king. Consider then that Yeshua also had a similar issue. He put together 12 men to walk with him, learn from him, see how he healed, hear how he taught, understand the principles of the kingdom. Oftentimes, we read between the lines and understand they argued among themselves as to who was the greatest in the kingdom, who was going to be the star pupil, if you will, that would take over the yeshiva once Yeshua was not with them. Yeshua would ask him, so what are you arguing about? And shamefacedly, they would have to admit, well, about who's the greatest in the kingdom. You had Yaakov and Yochanan, James and John, brothers, whose mother came to Yeshua and asked, let one sit on the right and one on the left of you in the kingdom. These are the same two guys who wanted to claim the mantle of Eliyahu and start calling down fire from heaven on a group of Ephraimites who did not follow Yeshua as they would have desired them to do so. When Yeshua asked them, are you able to drink of the cup that I'm able to drink from? Yes. They had no clue. They argued among themselves. They debated among themselves. They struggled with their personalities. And then Yeshua says, then one of you has a devil. Yet they learned from him. And after the ascension of Yeshua, it was noted that they had been with him. And it was said about them, those that have turned the world upside down have come here too. If that group of men can work together, any group of people can find a way to work together. Then we're also shown the issue of Avraham having to deal with the sons of Het. Now, who are these people? Well, Het is a descendant of Canaan. Canaan has a cursed lineage. These are people that, in actuality, they are a cursed race. And yet Abraham defers to them to whatever level is necessary to get done what needs to be done. He needs land to bury the body of his wife. And so he approaches them and he calls himself by two terms. One is a heir. I am a stranger, a sojourner moving through the midst of you. Also, toshav, that is, I am a resident. Now, if you want to relate to me as a heir, I'll be a heir. If you want to see me as toshav, I'll be a resident among you. You figure out how it's best for me to relate to you, and let's get this accomplished. They said, choose any land that you want. You're like royalty to us. No man will withhold his property from you. But the issue was bigger than that. It's not just about having a piece of dirt to put his wife's body in. He needs title deed. The bride being symbolic here in Sarah's life, being put in the earth as seed to bring forth the full revelation of the bride, needs to be accompanied by title deed. So Avraham made sure that he held legal title to a piece of earth with an exchange of coinage for a written document. Ephron wrangles the deal. Avraham ends up paying somewhere close to $250,000 in our modern currency for a small lot that included some fields, some trees, and a cave. Ephraim is not thought very well of after this. But Avraham secures title deed for the coming kingdom that the bride can be resurrected from. We'll hope to talk more about this on our next segment. Until then, shalom, and thank you for joining us.